We are live, guys. Good morning. I am a little bit late because I'm preparing something, so hopefully this few minutes while we gather is going to give me enough time to do that. So I'm going to play some music in the meantime and we are going to start. So let's go. Is it going to play anything? Hopefully. I'll have to repeat it one more time. I'm preparing some astrological charts. There are like lots of things to cover. Literally, we're going to have first maybe 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes with astrologists. So it's going to be much easier if I have these kids. So one more time, let's go. I'm still working on it. This is extremely important, so I guess I will be uploading this as we come into this. Oh my goodness, just one more. You know how I usually bring the astrology and it's just one chart. Well, this time it's about 10 or 12 of them that I need to bring it up, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do it the fastest, and hopefully we are going to get somewhere. Okay, so let's see first of all who is here, and hello. And this first part most likely I will upload. No, we don't need this anymore. Let's go back to the screen. It doesn't want to let me out. That's what's going to be happening. Hello everybody, this is going to be fun. It might be even a little bit scary. So let me remove this, and let me remove this image. Hello. So these are my notes that I have over here regarding the astrology part, but instead of watching this thing, let me create some issues, and I really need to figure out better ways of doing this. But I just dropped off Tiger at his daycare, and I realized, oh my god, I just cannot do the reading. This is really important. I could have had this separately done, but I really value you guys who come here, so I want you to come and see this first. So there you go. I guess you're seeing this, or maybe not seeing this. Do you want to keep them? Yes, I want to keep these changes. So here we are, and let's even cover. Is this going to let me? Come on. Yes, but it's not letting me fix it. Oh, there we go. So at least it's giving me starting point to go into something. So guys, they're like things in the air, and I guess you are feeling it. You are hearing it on television. Things are happening. There is like this energy in the air. We are all confused. One day we feel one way, another day we feel another way. We are very encouraged one day, the other day we feel lonely and isolated. So I really want to address all of that is happening. So good morning to everybody. Hello, and I'm sending to all of you lots of love. So you guys need to get your tea, and it could be something relaxing, and maybe I should get my tea going, but I also want to get going with this one. So let me start. So for those of you who don't know me, this is Kat from Cat Tarot. So welcome to March, right? So as many of you basically have been following my readings, and I did monthly readings, then you know that I was predicting this March, and there are like these new transitions coming up. So the days has come. This is really literally happening today. So it's very important for you to hear this and take this away, and maybe even come back. And I guess you're still seeing me waving my hand behind that. But let's start. Like what I want to cover here today, that we have Saturn moving into Aquarius. Europeans have it today. We in North America have it tomorrow. So this is what we'll be talking about, and I'll be talking about the new moon in Aries on the 24th, and what is that new moon going to do for us. But let's first address these intense energies that we are really feeling. So Mars is still in Capricorn, and it's joining the Capricorn party, as you can see here. I probably should be having and I don't know how to incorporate the live interpretation. It feels like I can do one or another. I have to study this, so that's going to be one of my challenges. And it did mess with my camera, but luckily the camera is right now not used. So we are going to fix this later when we get to the readings. But readings are going to take a secondary thing today. They're going to be rather quick, because this is applicable to all of us. We have lots of outer planets, and when they move, just think about a big boss coming in the office, and the word is law. So a few days ago, Mars has come within a degree of Jupiter, right? So let's think about Mars. Any Aries over here is going to tell you that Mars is the planet of aggression. It is the planet of speed and acceleration. It's kind of like full throttle, right? So it is usually speeding things up, and it's accelerating and quickening things. This is kind of why things are currently speeding up. You can see that even with the number of coronavirus out there, right? So the purpose basically here is, and it's going to continue speeding up before I get to that. It's going to continue speeding up for the remainder of the March, because the Mars, as you can see, conjuncts Jupiter at this stage. What means conjunct? It means that conjuncts. It means they're really close. So it's almost like a mirror effect, right? So Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's huge, right? Jupiter is a big planet, so it's like a magnifying glass. It makes things larger. So Jupiter is associated with abundance and indulgence. So now we have this combination, Mars and Jupiter together, they're partying. So that accelerates this expansion in the energy field, so things will get bigger, they will get more intense, and they get more dramatic. So for those of you who are skeptical of all of that, don't be. Also, Mars just crossed Jupiter and came to conjunct Pluto. That's happening right now. It started basically yesterday on the 20th, and it will come it's going to be in this position until the 22nd, when it's going to be at 24 degrees. So Pluto is a planet of destruction, and I don't know, maybe I should bring this the next chart over here. I don't want to confuse you too much with this either, right? So let's do the second one over here. And that's what I was preparing while you had this like dramatic music going on. Where's my transit 2? Right, so there we go. Look at this. Look at this. Everything is together, and this is coming into Aquarius, which is going to be something very important to cover later. Right, so maybe I should get different images for, let me do that. Just give me a second. So that way we have all of them, and I can refer back to them if I have to. And apologies, I'm not exactly prepared, as you can tell over here. So now you are going down here. This was the first one that we had, and this is the second one. Is this allowing me to copy? Yeah, look at that. It's allowing me to copy, but it's not allowing me to do anything. Is this going to copy like this? No. And then let's go the third one. My apologies, but this is, guys, going to be extremely important. Extremely important. So this is the third. And what's going on now? See, that's what I was doing. Well, you were coming on, and now I'm going to confuse everything. So this is the first one. Yeah. This is the second one. This is the third one. Okay, so far so good. Except I'm getting them named image 5, and then 4, and then 2. Very confusing, right? Then actually I maybe better continue, because I will get myself confused as hell, right? So anyway, let me continue, and maybe it's even better without all of that, and I'll remove this so I don't get you all confused. So excuse me, I guess all of the saving and waiting from me, after all, it was not that beneficial. So as I said, Mars just crossed Jupiter, and it's conjuncting Pluto. So remember how I said there is like also the Mars joining this big magnifying planet, but now we also have Pluto, that is the planet of destruction and karma and death and rebirth, transformation and power. We see death, we hear about death all the time, every day. So this is happening like this threesome. Mars is conjuncting Pluto when it's next to Jupiter, and that's kind of like sinister signature, if you wish, right? These are celestial organized crime gang members, three big bosses getting together, and they're saying, let's talk about it, what comes to me, kind of a thing, right? So put it together. This is also in Capricorn, which is the planet of government and social institutions and social structures, police, military, and our careers. I have heard today on the radio that somebody in Vancouver, a lady has been arrested because she was ordered to be quarantined, and she went to basically go out and get a walk, and she was arrested. So, I mean, talking about crazy. So now they're going to get her to jail, process all these people, will get in contact with her prisoners. So who is really crazy? On the 22nd, so like later on today in the Europe, and here a little bit early wee hours tomorrow, Saturn moves into Aquarius. So I'll get that into a second, but I really want to show you that Mars is continuing this course, right? When it goes into conjunction, when it moves into Aquarius. So we can see that throughout this month, because these planets are all together. So the energies are going to be really intense for the remainder of the month. And at the very least until the mid of April, when Mars and Saturn will start to move away from one another, like, right? Well, kind of like a sigh of relief. But Pluto and Jupiter still be very close. So even though the intensity will go down a notch, we will still continue with this until the end of April, and then Pluto goes retrograde. So then mid-May, we are going to have Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus all turn retrograde. And remember, retrograde is a time of retraction. It's a time of going inward. So it's kind of also a time of slowing down when we gather more information, strategizing, and reflecting. So it's going to be time where things are going to get possibly under control. We are going to be able to get a breather. It's kind of like a wave. It goes up and down. And right now, they're all full force forward until mid-May. And then mid-May is going to start to recede. So mid-May is when we think we are going to be fine, but in September they will going to go direct again. So middle of this year is going to be less intense, but we are really not out of the woods, because when these guys move forward, we are going to see re-emerging themes, and that can be payment of our mortgages, payment of our rents, payment of the bills. Everything is being relieved, everybody's getting some money. Mid-March, like, we are kind of like figuring out how we are going to get through it, and then everybody comes back with the big bills, and there is like this uproar happening later, right? So guys, what I really want to tell you, that when the time comes to slow down, it is time to slow down. Remember how we were telling us, and you heard it, the age of New Aquarius, a new age, and Eckhart Tolle wrote this book, A New Earth. Well, it is starting today. Like, it was not elusive concept, it's starting somewhere in the future. Here you are. This is the dawning of the age. It is. We are like, it's 2020. It's the dawning of a new era. It is the breakdown. We are dismantling the old system. So we are like cracking the Capricorn, and we are saying these old structures are not working anymore. The old government is not working. We do not want the same old politicians and the same old leaders, right? And then you get Aquarius that always messes things up, but it always pushes things forward, except it leaves tornadoes mess in the process. So think about it as a birthing process, right? Birth is messy and it's painful. It's also scary and confusing at times. But, you know, we are going through that. We are like in that birth canal right now. So that's how 2020 is going to look like, right? For those of you who got the annual forecast with me, you kind of like know I was suggesting to you where you need to buckle up, where you don't need to buckle up. So if you still didn't get it, and if you're my past client, because this is only open to my past clients, contact me and we can talk about it. So this is really where astrology shows its brilliance, right? Tarot is a tool which I love, and I love it a little bit more than astrology. And as I told you, I'm not the astrologer. I'm just kind of like having my own interpretation through my own feeling of the of the planets, but I also do have some education. So you just cannot have the tarot and be completely intuitive. You also need to know what basically the archetype of the card is, right? So this is a grand story that is taking place. The universe is currently taking messages. So on which kind of ride do you really want to go, guys, right? And I'm only on the page 2 of 4. So we have lots of things to cover, and I really hope you're taking notes because it is really, really important, right? So we also have on the 24th the new moon in Aries. So this is a time for new beginnings, and let me see, am I allowing this properly? Yeah. And it's also about our personal identity. This is the house number 1. So it is like, hey, I'm here, I showed up. Like, think about this like divine masculine in the full power, right? So, but this is combining with Saturn moving into Aquarius just a few days before. So that's what's going to happen, as I said, 21st, 22nd. So let's talk about positives first. I mean, any Aquarians here, like, guys, we can vouch for all of that stuff. So I have to tell you, being 11th sign, it is 1-1. So one of these ones is pulling in a very positive direction, another one in another negative direction. So when you guys get a wrath of Aquarius, you hate us, and I do get it, because you step on our tail because you're on the same axis as a Leo. Oh boy, do we roar. Like, we even scare Leo into their whatever, pride, cave, whatever they are. So, but let's talk about the positives, why you guys may like us. So Saturn moving into Aquarius is a really big deal. Like, if you're my coaching client, you already know that. We have been through that, because it is the closing, or partial closing rather to say, of Saturn in Capricorn, right? So yes, it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn later on in a few months, right? But this is the first taste that we are going to get it, right? So remember, you are like in a very expensive wine bar, you're getting really expensive wine, and you're going to feel like, oh, I like it, but it's going to be taken away from you, and you'll be left lingering with that taste. So Aquarius rules community, it rules coming together, it rules global family, galactic family, even off-planet influences, astronomy, astrology, tarot, technology, and especially deep space technology, innovation, discovery. It also rules all things humanitarian, human rights, animal rights, charity, protest, kid rights, unborn rights, right? So Aquarius is the archetype of collective revolution and collective rebellion. For those of you who remember the history lessons, like 1789, remember the Industrial Revolution was, F you all, we need to change the system. Like, we are like here laboring, and now this is happening. Well, this was the step 1. Today is the step 2, right? So having Saturn move into Aquarius brings this new Earth technology. We actually had them in, Saturn was in Capricorn, which is Earth, and now it's going in air. Where do you think you move faster? Right? In which element do you think you move faster? So it's also new vision. We have like this bird eye vision. Things are going to be different. So put this in perspective. This is going to be a really good thing. Like, the entire global community is coming together to find solutions. So, but it also, some sinister things can actually go, well, one world government kind of a thing. But on the positive side, we can expect that people will start to feel really inspired. We will start to come together. We are going to come with solutions for global issues. And this is really what we need right now. Coronavirus is just the beginning. Global warning. You see, Freudian slip. That's exactly what should be called. And I'm going to write it down. Global warning. Because this is about global warming and things that are going to come later. And this is just through the lenses of a virus, but it's closing the borders, guys. I already said, if you remember, and I checked it, it was back in September, when I was telling you about a dream that I had about the deserts and everything turning and closing the borders. By closing the borders, this is the taste of it. That's what's going to happen within 5 years. So now, when basically Saturn was in Capricorn. It was like dense and fixed in that kind of like earth, right? But now with this air, it's kind of like going into this mental expansion, and it's kind of like third eye awakening. So you actually see what is ahead of you. You do understand this, right? So that's actually really exciting news, because having Saturn move into Aquarius, it's really positive. We also need to cover the dark side. As I said, this is sign number 11. So 11s are leaders, but sometimes it goes in a positive direction, that 1-1, and sometimes in a negative. And sometimes these two unite and they actually create something really, really good, right? So, well, Aquarius rules technology, and Saturn rules government and systems and authority. Well, what can go wrong there, right? Also, when Saturn moves into Aquarius, it's going to be in a light square to Uranus and Taurus. And let me see if I have at least that thing to show you. Let me just go through my desktop thingy here. I don't think I pick up the square, but you never know. Maybe I did. It would be much easier to show you, but I don't also want to distract you from everything that I am talking about. Did I? No, I didn't. So anyhow, let's continue. I'm going to download this audio and I will see if I'll be able to then locate it and place it appropriately. So let's discuss these two planets, right? So with this light square. So light square to Uranus. Uranus is the planet of revolution and change and rebellion and awakening. That's the tornado, right? It also rules Aquarius. So one planet that rules Aquarius is that stability. So it's saying, yeah, you can have this tornado, but you have to clean it up later, kind of a thing. So that's what Aquarians are doing. We are like troublemakers, but we also clean stuff up, or we are rather forced, or if we are not forced, then we have karmic messages and karmic lessons. So it's kind of thing. So Saturn is really government, tradition, rules and regulations. So when two of them square, and square means 90 degrees angle, and that's sort of a tension point or challenges between two planets, that's actually representing conflict of interest, right? So think about it, you're playing chess. It's a kind of chessboard, and, or better maybe example, two dogs are playing tug of war. Everybody wants to pull their way. And they're not saying let's do it together, because you can't. If you clean first and then you have a tornado, it makes no sense, right? So it's a push and pull between that very conventional Saturn and very revolutionary Uranus. So we really need to clean the old way, even though they're pushing this, like Capricorn is saying, no, it's going to be this way. I have been ruling and I like it. It's a stable, it's a structure, it's on earth, it's very dense. And you're saying, hold my beer, right? So Saturn is that old way and Uranus is that new way. So Saturn is really being authority, and Aquarius rules technology, right? So those in authority, so this is a dark side, may use technology to block or restrict revolution, change, and rebellion. We kind of like did see certain signs of that happening already, and we really need to pay attention to that right now, right? So let me just go back to the other screen to see you all these lovelies. So March 22nd and all the way into April, when Saturn moves into Aquarius, this kind of like issues will emerge that will involve authority. And now that authority will use technology. So I was just reading this article on Google, a notification, it was saying on YouTube, it was saying, we sent a bunch of people home because of coronavirus, so everything have on auto programming right now. So if you get notifications, or if your channel goes quote unquote accidentally down, maybe it shouldn't have been taken down, but that's what we are dealing here with, right? So this is that square that I'm talking about, right? So we need to be really hyper vigilant about our rights, and also how we share information, particularly when it comes to questioning the motives of those in power. But those who actually abuse those issues and they try to kind of like manipulate technology, oh boy, they have it coming to them, because this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So also the bad side, the virus. Aquarius rules science and medical innovation. So you are probably very happy to hear that, because this is the freaking fastest of all signs. So when we want to do something, as you see it in 6 minutes, I actually prepare myself. I want to talk about it, I want to talk about it, I want to talk about it, because this is important. Maybe it's not perfect. I know it is not presentation ready, but it is information ready, and that's all that really matters, right? So luckily Aquarius also rules people coming together, right? So it is really interesting that with this global crisis, we are also facing this social distancing, right? This is happening pretty much in every country. People aren't allowed to gather in large crowds, which is basically what Aquarius likes, large crowds getting together. But I really find this like it's very interesting. So this is that dark side where, like, I mean, this is being controlled. This is trying to be kind of like weird off its course. So Saturn and Uranus will come into their direct square at the beginning of 2021. So this is kind of like the ways the cycles work, and we will see the themes emerge at the end of this month when they come into that light square, and that Saturn is going to go into retrograde and is going to ease off. But then when Saturn moves forward in the fall, right, it's end of September, then it's going to square with Uranus, which is going to be beginning of 2021. That's when we are going to see the tug of war takes place, right? So again, we need to stay really vigilant, and we need to take an active role in getting access to this type of information. Be very careful about any privacy, about your passwords, and so on and so forth. Be really careful of what official information you give, because it might be abused, right? So now, let's look into the new moon in Aries. It's on the 24th. It's 4 degrees to the sun and the moon. And I think I did have that one. At least I can pull that one. I remember seeing that one. But this whole freaking thing is creating a big mess over here on my desktop. Can I have the larger icons? And maybe I can see them without opening. Yeah, they really didn't happen much larger. But is it this? Transit 4. No, this was just like what I was covering. But maybe I can put this, because this is going to be really important. So let me replace this, what we have right now, with Transit 5. Okay. Here we go. So that's kind of like summary what I typed, so at least if it kind of like can take something away from this, then we kind of like take this, and that's going to be very important. I hope, guys, you're following so far and that you're understanding, because this part for the new moon is also very important. Usually new moon brings like all these lovely feelings, and it's a new start, it's a new beginning. This new moon is in Aries, and Aries is usually head on. It's kind of like that aggression and I want kind of a thing, and don't take it away from me. But we see that Chiron is in Aries, right? And as well, so this is actually talking about a wounded moon. That's the unfortunate part. Chiron in Aries represented that wounded warrior and the wounded masculine. So if you remember this 9 of Wands card, this is where you see that in tarot. The dude is staying with his wands, his sticks, and his head is like he's determined to continue. Yes, he is, but he's wounded, right? So he's been taken back. And I'm talking about the gender here. We all have this aggressive part of ourselves, right? So I'm talking about masculine energies and the wounded warrior. Wounded warrior is barbaric, it's aggressive, it's also vicious looking. It's like almost like you know how on a dog you see the teeth of oh, by the way, Tiger is in a daycare, so that's why you're not seeing slurping and drinking water and all this other stuff, right? So that wounded warrior is looking for a fight and conflict. It's very primal energy. It's kind of bloodthirsty. It's a survival mode. Think about tribes. So it can create conflict where it doesn't need to be conflict. It's almost like an increase in testosterone. So think about a guy who goes in a bar and he's looking for a fight. Equally, the rest of us are going to feel like that. We are going to be insisting on our causes, insisting on our values, and then we'll maybe want to defend ourselves unnecessarily, right? We actually already see that happening. People are fighting over toilet paper. They're like clearing the shelves in frenzy, and grocery store, like they're empty. They're leaving nothing for others, and they have no guilt about it. It's me, give it to me, right? It's like every man and every woman for themselves type of energy that usually kicks in when people feel that their survival is threatened, their lives are threatened, right? It puts us in this like flight or fight scenario. We also have people fighting on the internet about who is right and who really knows what actually is going on. People are really getting vicious out there. So we will see that energy coming in with this new moon. So remember that Chiron and Aries is the wound of the collective ego, especially as we see economic situations shifting and fluctuating, and people having to come home from their jobs or losing their jobs or seeing their finances fluctuated. So if people's identity is too heavily attached to these things, and you have like this man being fired from work and never telling his wife for 20 years that he has been fired, right? He's just saying he has been cut and he's making less money because he's getting unemployment, sort of a things, right? So this is going to herald collective ego death. That is basically what Aquarian basically transition is saying all about. We just can't continue. We cannot build something new. Yes, we can take certain things from the old. We can, at the very least, take the lessons we have learned, right? So that's pretty heavy, right? So you can see how important I felt this was. And I said, oh my gosh, this is not just a little blurb. I actually need to get myself organized on that. So it's kind of heavy, but they're like also positive. So let's go there. Because the wounded warrior is realizing that he or she is not going to survive unless they come into the balanced warrior, right? And the balanced warrior defends the weak. The balanced warrior defends the innocent. It fights for justice. The balanced warrior doesn't necessarily seek drama, but will fight for what is right. So that warrior is brave and it can think rationally, it can strategize under stress, and it can focus on what needs to be done despite the external turmoil. So you will see some people will be trying, if they are asked a polarizing question, they will kind of like sidetrack this question and say, no, let's forget this bickering, let's move forward. The other ones will attack. Those ones that attack, they need to shed their ego. So either they will shed their ego. And if you remember back in September, I was telling you we are in this new process, and those of you who stayed with me are there with me, and we will have the next stage, and the stage is now. So if people shed their ego, they will join us. If they don't shed their ego, they will stay in that wounded warrior state, which is kind of like now overlapping with so many things. So it's almost like the eye of the storm, as the warrior can make others feel safe in a time of crisis. So this Chiron influence of this moon is asking us to heal the fractures in the identity, and those fractures are emerging as a result of everything that is happening. You need to remember that Mars is the ruler of this chart for this new moon, because Mars rules Aries, and Mars is over there sandwiched between Saturn and Pluto, right? So during this kind of like really intense sandwich time, people are going to have their fears exposed and their wounds exposed, right? So this new moon is calling for healing. And what is kind of like better to heal than when you have Aquarius that really rules through it? So we actually do have hope. Aquarius and Virgo give you hope. Imagine if Pluto messes up and say, ha 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 ha, I didn't like you, you were so mean to me, off you go. No, like we are right now kind of like walking with something that might be looking as a massive mess but it's going to start to make sense. So we need to all become those warriors during this time so we can fight for justice when it's cold, not only for yourself but for the others. This is the rule when you're under Aquarius. No selfishness here, because you're going to be left behind. So we also need to make sure that we don't cause unnecessary drama, we don't get too defensive, too anxious, too vicious, right? So, but there are also positive aspects to this moon, because the yin and yang, positive always comes with negative and vice versa, right? So we have Mercury and Uranus kind of like shine through, and the sextile or sex is always a good thing, right? So sextile, the north and south node in Pisces, which is connected to basically that imagination and spirit, and it's connecting us to the higher plane, to God, to universe, right? And we can see about the chaos. Just think about that airplane flying over the clouds. The clouds are raining down, the thundering and storm, but for you, sun is shining, right? So we also have Uranus, which is the planet of revolution and change. This is propelling us toward that north node. And basically, this is like more getting in touch with what our emotional kind of like target is, what we emotionally feel, who we are. This is really a huge awakening for a lot of people, what is really actually important. And right now, this whole crisis with this sickness make people really come home to what they really actually care, right? And we cannot allow anybody to become too alienated, right? Where we lost our sense of what is truly important to us. Do we really want this elderly neighbor just fend for themselves, or at the risk of us getting the sickness? Or will we be brave warrior, or will we be wounded and angry warrior? You need to ask yourself, write yourself the big basically paper, put it on the fridge. Am I a brave or wounded warrior? That's going to remind you to this. So this is all having global effect. We are starting to connect more. Fingers are sometimes pointing in different direction. Let's blame China, let's blame Europe, let's blame Italy or Iran. This is also the people who are from the past, who are going to stay in the past if they don't transition, right? We need to step into our warrior role, into our individual roles, and we need to be a part of this new reality that is being created as the old one gets torn down. And if you want to know what your role is, you need to look in your north node. You need to find out your north node, what you need to evolve, and what is your mission on this earth, right? So my north node in Gemini is like telling me you need to communicate better. You need to do this. It's very important that you say what you think, right? And my south node is that, therefore, in Sagittarius is always the opposite, is telling me, okay, big ideas are great. This is what you worked on so far. Now you need to kind of get them out. So you need to figure out what this north node and south node is for you. If you look down in the description of this video, I did provide you how to get your natal chart. It's going to tell you most likely only north node. South node is the opposite of it. So north node will tell you where you need to go and to evolve, and what is your mission, what is your destiny, right? And south node is going to tell you what you're moving away from and what you need to let go of. So if you're a big picture person and it's telling you, okay, like, why don't you focus on the details right now, because this is great to be a big picture person, but now you have to pay the bills. That's kind of like information you will get. So for those of you who had readings with me, especially the bigger readings, you know that I include this astrology, especially those who had this entire year forecast, which again, I'm sorry, but I only, with few exceptions, I allow it to my clients, and that's the reason I'm extremely exhausted. That's the only reading I can do for a day. It's usually an hour and a half long. Sometimes it was a little bit shorter, sometimes longer, depending on how much I have to cover in the individual chart. But it really tells you this whole things for the whole year. You literally can say, this month I have to watch this, and it's almost like you have your own manual. Now I'm going to close this. Finally, I did get out everything that I wanted to say, and I'm going to, when this uploads, chop this piece and upload it individually. So I want to say this as well, as far as those of you who are maybe having your immune compromise, or you have any comorbid situations such as heart condition, diabetes, breathing, asthma, or if you are concerned about somebody else who may be immunocompromised, I really want to share with you two my favorite immune support herbs that you can get them, right? Either Whole Foods or health food store, and you can order them online if you really want to minimize the contact with the people. The first one is olive leaf extract, right? Uh, if I feel that I'm getting sick, I will load up on that one. And the other one, which most of you probably already know, is oil oregano. Oil of oregano, make sure it's organic. It's a great also immune support. It's antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, so the temperature will go down, anti-diabetic, and also cancer suppressing agent, right? It's found in that oil. No, this is not a health advice. This is something you can Google up and see it, but it's really amazing stuff. So get these two, olive leaf extract and oil of oregano, and you're going to be good to go. Just do it before you're like in the jaws of it, and start working on it, start boosting it up, right? Now, having said that, it's just like when people sometimes ask me, like, and I used to be into these MLM things when I came to this country. It was noni juice, and people say, oh, will I heal my cancer with this? Clearly I didn't make a good distributor, because I would say to them, it's a juice, dude. It's a juice. You need to change your life, and when you change your life, this juice will help. Until then, this is only a juice. So yeah, olive leaf extract and oil of oregano, this is great, but you also need to pay attention to your diet, and like your diet will be very important, right? We just came out of full moon in Virgo, and the next full moon will be in Libra. So Virgo, health and how we organize our life. Libra, put it in balance. So we need to reassess our diets and have balance. So if you want my personal opinion, and you know what is like, it's worth 2 cents, right? Stop eating meat, stop eating sugar and dairy, because that truly suppresses your immune system. You're going to get ahead without it. And yeah, stay safe out there. You know, things are really crazy, and we are on one hell of a ride, but you know, Lord knows, if we want it to be interesting, then we chose this lifetime on this earth at this stage right now. So this kind of like was very, very important to us. So like I said, guys, it is not the end of the days. It is just simply a certain type of days that we are going to experience. Is going to be interesting ride, is going to be pedal to the metal, but you know, we will just have to kind of go through it, right? So we have chosen this life and this karma, so buckle up, right? So remember, we are going through labor pains. We are just going through it, we are shifting through it, and it's happening. So if you guys want to reach out to me for a reading, you're more than welcome. So please check my website or contact me directly via email so we can set up something. And if you enjoyed this video and this presentation, and please give me a like or share. This actually might help someone. And imagine, like, just a small thing on a global scale you're sharing and sending somebody, check this information. You might not believe in astrology, but please give it a listen, right? You might help someone. I also appreciate your feedback, and I look forward to your comments as well. As I said, you can provide a link to this video, or you can wait for me to just upload this independent piece, which is going to be probably later on today, because it's 21st. It's very, very important. So Barbie is running the show, and so let's start. And I don't even have my charts with me, because I was like frantically writing all of that stuff since 9 o'clock in the morning. But here it is. I can start with things, and I told you it's going to be half an hour, and there we are, 50 minutes. So we are going to have the readings rather short, but I have covered it, and we are going to refer back to what we heard. And I don't know what I want here. Let's go with this deck, my beautiful pre-Raphaelite tarot that I really cherish. It is one of my favorite decks, even though it was just recently obtained. And before I start, I just really want to check who is here, because I was just drilling through my thing. Hello Knitting Yogi, hello Selena, Lynn, Hello, Chris, Mel Moore, Jennifer, hello, Anita, hi, good to see you, Billionaire, good morning, Harding, 2000. Okay, like I saw that like your nick. I said this is reminding me of Harry Potter for some reason. China, Poppy Angel, Barbie, of course, she's running the show. Look at all these paws. This is so freaking cute. And Joanna is over here. Nice, from Michigan. Cool. Who else? Who else? Anybody else? What's matter you? That's a male Gemini. Hello, look at this. We have like second guy. I'm so proud. Like I'm in 10% of the guys. So you see, they're like that masculine energy presenting in a reading. And that dude is telling you if change is supposed to be a challenge, it's simply water on a duck's back. Are you Aries? No, you said you're Gemini, right? So that makes sense also. Yeah, sure it does. So this is a repeat of 9/11. I don't know if it's a repeat of 9/11. It could feel like 9/11 with what we are heading into. Like it's going to feel like big explosion, right? So, oh, Chris, this is so sweet of you. And as I said, I'm a complete amateur and I'm just learning, but this is like my interpretation. So let's start with Aries because we'll be getting lots of Aries energy, right? So it is like 6 p.m. So you're 7 hours ahead of us, Poppy. So Aries, as I said, the readings are going to be rather short because we have covered all of it, but I will, if I see something that I need to refer back to it, we'll let you know. So Aries, you're already getting your cards. You're getting Ace of Wands. Guess what? And let me see if I'm messing my camera up or not this time around. Hopefully not. And because I did set it up, but it didn't move and I kicked it. So I'm just trying to organize it better. So Ace of Wands is about the old things. Ace of Wands is like, hey, you know, I have this camera. Remember like when you're looking for something and you go and buy it and then you find the same thing later that you have it. You just didn't want to bother spending time looking for it, right? So now I messed it. It was all good and now I messed it up. So of course. So this also can talk about a new the old relationships coming back to the fore and things kind of like being dealt with and so on and so forth, right? But it was reversed. It said, don't do it. So this is the Saturn. It's telling you, you guys are going to be one of those leaders. You guys will start looking in things, how to do them differently. And for you guys, you're going to start, look at this, with 7 and 8 of Pentacles. Interestingly, they're like kind of like back to back over here. So this is the 15. 7 and 8 is 15. And also you have 16. Lucky you. You have both the Devil and the Tower. Aren't you lucky? And that's what you're giving to all of us. We know. We know. This is the wounded warrior. You need to fight those instincts. You need to fight. Thank you, Lynn. Love and light for everybody. Like we guys really need it. And maybe I should even light a little bit of Palo Santo so we can repel this negativity. Yes, it's going to work for you too, even though you're not going to unfortunately smell this lovely smell. So I also suggest this is not necessarily, this is just simply to clear your place, either sage or Palo Santo. This is like small stick maybe. The bigger one is going, they don't really light up as easily as the other things, and that's a good thing because then they kind of like burn for a while, and of course I burn myself, so let's do that. So this is the fire energy of you Aries. So the Devil, isn't this kind of like convenient? We are going from Devil energy, which is Capricorn, into the Tower, which is Mars energy. So this is clearly describing you, and you might have simply kind of like some adjustments that you're going to do. You're going to say certain things are working and certain things are not working. It's, think about like your mutual funding, your portfolio. You're kind of like dealing with kind of like what you really want to keep, what is performing, what is not performing, and that's going to apply to all levels of your life. You're going to be looking in the details, right? Looking for this, deciding what works. And oh, it's my lavender. I want my lavender. Lavender is, by the way, the sun. It's the healing, and it's Sundays are going to be very productive for you. So tomorrow, it's going to be something you'll be really thinking through. It's going to be this motion. This is the 22nd. You'll feel invigorated if you're coming into your sign. Happy birthday. And basically you're heading toward a new moon. It's going to be really amazing, and you're going to really feel that Aquarius transitioning, right, to basically Saturn in Aquarius. So this is about, oh my, look at that, you did all of that. It's going to be the sense of pride. Maybe things are not finished yet, like, I mean, here you set it up, but you're going to feel really, really good about the direction you're taking this week and how things are really, really moving. So Aquarians, pardon me, Aries, it's going to be an absolutely lovely week for you. Just make sure that something or somebody doesn't pull you down, that negative energy doesn't pull you down, that you do not go into this butting heads, wounded warrior, because that's going to be telltale sign that you're like doing something wrong and that you really shouldn't be going in that direction, right? So what other things we had? Pluto. So we will also cover Scorpio. We'll have Aquarius right now next, because we are dealing with that, and we'll have Jupiter, which is Sagittarius. So let's cover all of these pertinent things. So first, next is Aquarius, because we Aquarians have something to add. So let's see how is this all going to affect us. Guys, please, if you're still online, please give a thumb up. As I said, share. Because this, oh my gosh, this literally might help somebody. Like, yeah, we are clearly linking with the Aries energy, Aquarians. We did get the Wounded Warrior card. We did it. Look at this. And it's zillions of cards over here. It is the death of an ego over here. Look at that. It's the same thing. It's the Sunday energy. There's like something going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys, Aquarians are going to feel very different. How many Aquarians do we have over here? Please say I really want to see that, because, guys, if you feel that you have been suppressed, if you feel that all the doors have been closed, if you feel that things were not moving forward, tomorrow, you're going to feel like, oh my freaking God, I'm just glued to the seat and I'm going all the places that I couldn't go before. But it's going to be overwhelming at the same time. So this is one of those cards. It's saying, well, you better spend the whole Saturday right now thinking about it, thinking about buckling up, kind of projecting this. That's going to be that bickering. That's going to be that wounded warrior. And maybe it's going to be simply a decision that, hey, you know, I have only one more day left to bicker. I have one more day to deal with this, because look at this. She's kind of stuck over here. Like Pan is like singing his song over here. She's looking at it, but she is stuck. So it's not so much that we are going to be bitter, but we are going to maybe not feel, because interestingly in this deck, in the other decks, you see differently dressed basically characters, which basically represent different religions. They represent, each of them feel very strongly about their own cause, but here they're all basically within the same belief system, and they are not pushing those wands toward each other. So I really feel this particular Five of Wands in this deck is more about unity. And maybe we are going to be frustrated that people do not want to unify, that people are selfish. And maybe this is going to be the source of conflict, because we are getting into our egalitarian state where it really pisses us off if people are not really if people are not pulling their weight. When I see somebody selfish, it triggers me as much as triggers me somebody abusing an animal. Trust me on this one. But we are also learning certain things about ourselves. We are learning that you get more bees with honey than with a vinegar. And there is like this gentleness, and there is like this expansion, and there is like this kind of like feelings. The Death card, it's a good thing over here. We are leaving the past thing past. We are leaving certain things. We also, for some of you, might mean that you're leaving past, even if that applies to relationships, even if that applies to somebody who maybe still lingered in your thoughts. It's simply it. Just think about it. This planet exploded. You are loading the rocket, and you can stay. You're going to die. It's going to drag you down, but you can load because there is life elsewhere. We still don't know where, and we still don't know how, but we do know that we are still alive. So that's Aries. I'm seeing an error on my screen. It's telling me that buffering is going to happen. So hopefully, you know, if this is what is you, this is technology messing up with us. And I didn't put when it was Aquarius. So I guess Barbie will have to look into that. So I'm going to just guess estimate over here. Guesstimate. So the next one will be the Jupiter, the expansion, that magnifying effect with Mars that I told you, which is Jupiter is ruling Sagittarius. So let's check Sagittarians over here. Oh, look at you, lucky you, Sun and Moon rising Gemini. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you argue with yourself, don't you? So, I think this is where it wants to have me. So we are talking about Sagittarius, and I better write it down because I will forget it again. So Sagittarius, interestingly enough, the first thing that I saw is like this goal-oriented approach. But look, in this particular card, in this like Knight of Swords, we do have scales. And this is that sky-high approach. This is what I was saying. You're going to be like 30,000 feet above this basically Earth. And it's going to be thunder and snow, everything down there. But, and I don't know if you can see it even here, in this particular card, the ship here is sinking over here, which is not the best thing. And I'm not telling that your ship is sinking, but it's going to be that you will be out of options. You are cutting something off. You are coming to your own truth, or you're telling the truth. You are, I just want, oops, there is the sun. And there comes the sun. And that is going to be relief. I do feel here the truth will set you free. You guys, or maybe this could be somebody, possibly an air sign, coming toward you demanding some answers. I mean, you have air sign, you have earth sign, you have fire or Leo coming through, right? So that could be like, I mean, a really huge influence over here. Maybe some of you had been in some kind of hanky-panky situation. Maybe some of you have been in a third-party situations and you're like tired and fed up and you don't want to deal with this. Or if this is you, you're going to be called to what the F is going on. I need to know now. Because that's that energy that we really have in the air. And there is like conquering the situation. There is like, I love this card. Not only is he riding, but you know, he is like riding on that sunflower over here. And also the decoration on this horse almost looks like a keyhole over here. So this is some kind of like claiming of transparency. Like the sun is like the greatest disinfectant over here. I also feel that you'll be spending lots of time in outdoors, and some of you will be flying, interestingly enough. Flying, some of you are still dealing with maybe some legal processes. If you're dealing with legal processes, like this things are up in the air. This is kind of like really interesting time to deal with this, because with the transition, it's going to look like, well, you know, the things are against you, but then they're going to turn around and they're going to turn it around again. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth, and that's why I want to clarify this Two of Pentacles. So yeah, rider, back and forth, rider and love. There's like something that you need to let go of. There is energy that needs to go away in order for you to actually get this ticket on this rocket to get out of the trouble. And that's going to be very important. There's going to be some time of reckoning this particular week. It's going to be for most of us, but you are really going to feel it, right? So Scorpio, Pluto. Let's see what the Pluto is going to really do, especially for the sign like yours that rules it, right? So Scorpio, 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 Scorpio. Let's do this. Scorpio, a white horse nonetheless, that's correct. And white horse is like very non-sexual. It's kind of like very friendly level. But oh, Scorpio, your card came through. You are feeling extremely powerful. Extremely, extremely powerful. Oh my goodness. What is going on over here? Whew. This is your card. Now this is the card, the World, which is possibly the best card to get in the entire deck. It's not my favorite one. The Star is my favorite one because I feel the optimism is the most important quality the person can have. But this is the card about accomplishment, the World. It can mean earthy level. We have the Taurus, we have a Leo. We can talk about I'm feeling back in tune with my strategy, right? Then you have a Scorpio, which is here the Eagle. And I don't know how many of you know, if you took my tarot course when I spoke about Scorpio, Scorpio goes through layers. It's a scorpion, but it's also a little fish sometimes, and sometimes eagle, and sometimes phoenix. In fact, in tarot, in Jupiter card, which is the Wheel of Fortune number 10, it's not going to be eagle, it's going to be phoenix, kind of like opening its wings and kind of like moving forward. So this is about karma, this is about accomplishment, this is about something has been resolved, something has to die, something has to die in order for you to be accomplished. And even though if I'm saying something like this to somebody else, they will go no, to you, you totally know what I'm talking about. You totally know what's happening. Some of you will feel extremely frustrated because you will feel, oh my freaking God, I need to do it, but I'm blocked. I need to do it, I'm blocked. It's going to be a week of lots of frustration for some of you. It's going to be a week where you really, really feel, and it's kind of like really interesting that we have some hidden motives here hiding. Can you see a Sagittarius? Over here there's like a little arrow, and this arrow is trying to basically kill those birds. It's 3 of birds. We also have the sun, and I think this might be a snake, some kind of healing. So I guess you might be connected with Sagittarius, you might be connected with a Leo, you might be connected with Gemini. There's like some level of issues swirling. Like, I mean, you want to accomplish something. Be very careful. These energies that we actually have are literally programming us to go in all directions, but there's only one way of getting the ticket on that rocket out of the situation, and this is to really look what is in the everybody's best interest, not only in yours. So when the Death card shows up in Scorpio reading, this is like absolutely beautiful. It almost like looks like you have a new take. It's not a new chapter, it's a new book. What do you want? You want something, you are declaring it, you are actually even getting a commitment, but then you get into these things, which I think is going to be within 9 months. Something in December, it's going to come back to question the same things that you already have. So even though you have, like, if you want a bird in your hand, you are still going to go back and forth, because this is kind of like a rocky road. This entire year has this thing, and that's why this is a vibrational year number 4, which is also shown in this card. 13 is 1 and 3 is 4, and this simply means that we need to stabilize. We need to figure out what the heck is working for us and how the heck to get into this, right? So this is 3, this is 4. That would be almost like the Emperor and the Empress, with the feminine coming on top. So you need to understand that maybe sometimes forceful approach is needed just to take the door down, but this gentle hand and approach, remember, we are going through rebirthing, and this rebirthing means that somebody also needs to tap you on your behind when you come out. And that's what this really card talks about, it that not necessarily everything is going to just flow. You have unbelievable powers, but those powers are a little bit kind of like reined in. So let me just check really quickly over here. Hello, Saint Gerard. Happy CATURDAY. And guess what? CATURDAY is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is right now turning to Aquarius. So I think the lives are going to get more vibrant. Continuing on, money. The card money is a really interesting one, and I really wanted to see why it is. Maybe there is like something that is considering finances or some kind of planning that is coming to the fore. But also, I don't know if you can see, there are like little books here on the shelves, And those books always tell me about secrets. These books are always telling me maybe there's some kind of documentation and contracts and things that were going to come up and that we really need to deal with. And it's going to be very, very important. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. Maybe, you know, you agree with something. Maybe there's a process. This can herald anything. This can herald marriages. This can herald new contracts. That can herald new jobs. But maybe you got something and now you cannot start it because of the virus, right? So that's kind of situation, for example, that I see over here, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so we covered the main players that will be covering the situation almost like until mid-May. So the next one I'm going to do will be Taurus. So Taurus, let's see, what do we get here? What do we get here? Taurus, you have Fool. You have, hey, you're also, it is just amazing. Look at the energies. You guys are awesome. Same thing. You want to move forward. You're jumping forward. You're taking this leap. But your leap is supposed to be, you need to shed any sense of selfishness. Oh my God, Taurus, I don't want to put you down, but sometimes this is hard, right? Because this is a huge bull. It's super strong. This is the Fool and this is the Hangman. Hangman is giving you orders. And those orders are, you need to release any sense of control. Look at this. 12. 1 and 2 is 3. This is again birth. Like, do you think you're going to hold it in, that it's not going to come out? It's coming. It's coming. By holding it, you're only making things really difficult. But it did come up, which is really good. It looks like you're going to relinquish the powers. You're going to understand. Maybe somebody's saying, it's time to do this. It's time to do that. In this particular card, I really like how the little dog is being portrayed, because this doggy is not such a good news over here in this particular deck. In tarot, doggy means it's the society. Remember how I said Aquarius is actually bringing solutions to all of these issues. Maybe those solutions are not going to be the most elegant ones, but there'll be solutions that will save lots of lives, right? But the dog is representing here like that Capricorn energy. The society said, no, we have always done things this way, and it's going to be this way, and it is because I say so, kind of a thing, right? You need to let go of that stuff. You need to let go of tried and true, at least for the week. You're going to feel really isolated. You also have this energy of Leo, Sagittarius, earth sign, fire signs and air signs highly connecting over here. There's like essence of suppression of some sort, right? It's really, really important for you to understand this, because 12 and 9 comes to 21, which is the World. And the World is the last card in Major Arcana, or the first, because they're like don't have a last, and first because they're like in a circle, right? And this one will be next to it. So it's the full freaking circle coming for you. Something really new is happening, but in order for you to really benefit, you have to go contrary to what you want, contrary to your ego, contrary to accumulation. You need to not have any control, and anybody who wants control and say, you need to see it my way, and why this and this and this, you need to see it, and only then it's going to work. You're going to feel a bit frustrated. You're going to feel, maybe I should cover this one up. You might feel a bit captive in a situation, but it's going to work out. I just want to see this 9 of Swords for you. And look at this, you have joyfulness, and then you have consolation. So it's going to be kind of like bittersweet, I would say. There are going to be things that are going to make you very happy, maybe gathering with friends, maybe some essence, but at the same time, it's not going to bring you the expectations. So you have some expectations in the situation, which this card says, no, that's bad news, and that's exactly the moment when you have it, one will take it away from you. So you need to be in the now. This is literally going to be a challenge. There's this transition that you're going to feel because you're an earth sign. Saturn is moving, and you really need to go and have something really, really different, right? And of course, I did put Taurus. Okay, the next one is Gemini. Let's see the energy over here. You have the Devil card, which is basically the dark side of Gemini. Gemini is represented with Lovers card, which is number 6. Here we have 15. 1 and 5 is 6. It's almost like identical card to the other one, except the Devil card really talks about that we feel that somebody else is pulling the plug. But this is also the Capricornian energy that we are really talking about here. You also have 8 of Swords, which is reversed. Oh my God. And there's your card. You guys are shedding that bad twin. You guys are getting rid of stuff. You are so getting self-programmed. You're like touching those digits inside of you. You're getting better diet. You are cleaning the stuff you're eating. You're literally saying to yourself, I need to function at the highest vibration. And it is really, really important, right? You are setting new rules. You tried to do that for a while, especially some of you maybe tried to lose weight. And now I think this whole global thing, it's really shaking you up. Maybe you also have dealt with the government. Maybe you have dealt with people who are very rigid, and you kind of like, you had like lots of paths closed and you really didn't know how to get through. And you were getting really frustrated, and some of you really depressed. But this is kind of like being shed right now. You're getting really into the sense of feeling that you can accomplish anything. And look at this, you escaped. You are actually seeing clarity. You're seeing clearance. You are able to get out of this fog. You're able to set a new standard. You're able to go in this new direction, and you're able to kind of like jump ahead. And the Lovers card also talks about love. And be careful, even if you're pursuing love during this coronavirus, love can be deadly, right? So be very careful, and it's going to be lovely for dating, because we might actually be platonic for a while and allow ourselves this time to really meet somebody. This is intellectual understanding. It could be chatting with people online. You're going to be in your element, and you're going to really realize how you have a choice between the good and bad, and how, you know, you have to let that bad twin kind of like drain out of your system, and that you're absolutely able to do that. So nothing to confirm, because 8 of Swords that represents constriction is coming out. And Barbie is ordering the doors. And Barbie, tell them what these doors are all about while I cover the screen and I obey my Libra moderator. So the doors, we're going to have 3 cards on the table, one on the left, one in the center, and one on the right. You guys ask yourself a question, suspend yourself a few minutes. It should be more or less yes or no. Because you are on a live reading, if you want to get the further clarification for the answer that you've got, I will do that. If you feel comfortable telling your question, or even the general area. So card number 1, the left one, is on the table. So you have to choose number 1, number 2, or number 3. So let's just see what we get. And actually I'm going to get also, I don't know why I'm enthused to get clarifiers. 1, 2, and 3. All right, I'll be lifting the veil right now so we can really go into this. And that's how I talk to my doggo. So pick a card is, okay, so if you pick the left door, or the card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So for those of you who picked this one, you got the answer, the Empress. So this is his birth. There is like something that is happening, something is going on. But there's like going to be something that is going to make you very nervous. You might get it. This is a very powerful card, right? Whenever the majors come through, we kind of get it. But sometimes we don't get it on our terms. Sometimes we need to be aware what we wish for, because we got it and then we don't want it, right? Sometimes it's just like is really bad solution to things. The Empress can be very demanding. You might be dealing with a woman, or this could be something regarding beauty. You might feel, you know, let's say you reunite with somebody and then you don't feel beautiful, so you're asking yourself, so what was this all about? Why did I really want it, right? And the clarifier is like, just keep at it, keep working at it, keep adding the details. It's going to be really, really important. It's going to really show up. And look at this, 3 and 8. It's 11. It's karma. It's justice. Things need to get in balance. You need to work being out of balance in order for this to kind of like react properly. Okay, Cecilia got number 2, and number 2 is another karma card, Judgment. It's also reversed. So it's going to be the time when we pay for things we didn't do well, when we didn't pay it forward. Now we don't have this extra bonus points that we can use when we are like stuck. So Judgment really say that we will feel that we are getting a short end of the stick, that something is happening. Again, it's Judgment, it's major arcana. This might be yes answer, but it's clearly going to feel that this doesn't give us the taste that we wanted. We'll feel that we fall flat, or worse yet, I'll say, okay, I'll do it, where you kind of like, it loses the essence of what we really wanted to get there. And there's a King of Cups. This could have been a love question that somebody comes and gives this. Ooh, look at this, I have the birdie over here. Birdie, Sapphie, the birdie, the birdie is here, I have to announce this because this is a big deal. I live on the 4th floor, and the birds rarely land over here. Where's the bird? She's looking at the screen because she's used to me playing the... It's over there, birdie. You're too lazy to come down? Okay. Guys, you may have asked here that the man is going to come through, is going to be emotional, is going to tell you that he loves you, or a person. The person can come through, but they're not going to say any of these things. That's kind of like a thing over here. And door number 3, we have the Star reversed. Again, one of those dual situations. And it's telling you that you might be the reason for these things not to come true. This is on the trajectory to kind of like happen, but you might lose your will or fate in it in order to move it forward. Don't lose faith. This is the ultimate friendship card. You need to be a friend to yourself. You need to have hope. You need to have the understanding of yourself. So interestingly, they're all and that's maybe why I had this like urge to actually pull the clarifiers. All clarifiers were up and all the main ones were down, interestingly enough, because it almost like gave us a guidance, and I haven't done this before. Okay, so we have a few more signs over here. Oh, I've forgotten Capricorn, which is actually playing a big role in the scene. How did I dare to forget you? So let's go with Capricorn. What is this? 122. I don't know if Barbie will be able to read this. Capricorn. Okay, Lynn, you asked for number 2. Will it become a financial success? Which was it that you picked, number 2? I'm just trying to see. No, number 3. You need to believe in that. You need to believe in that. You will think it's going to be a failure. You will think it's not going to get anywhere. And why is this picture flashing before my eyes? I'm just trying to define what is this flashing. And there are a few things at the same time. There's like, one is this card. Oh my gosh. One is this card that flashed, and where is this card about this singer? But there's like something else, and that something else is going away, and I cannot hold it. The thought is going away. But this one is crystallizing, so I guess it really wants me to see this. Maybe there are messages for the other people. This card was flashing before my eyes for you, Lynn. Perseverance. The story in this card talks about this lady who got this magic cape or shawl from a very famous actress, and she thought it's going to help her to bring her luck. And you can see it's full of holes. It was used a lot, and she's tired. She's giving up. Angel is coming. Don't give up. The success is just around the corner. So you really need to persist when you really feel it's not going to happen, and it's going to look that way, but you need to persist. So it's very, very important, right? You're welcome. What's the matter, you? Okay, so Capricorn. Maybe let's put a new timestamp because I got sidetracked. Let me see. You have 6 of Swords. It is transitioning to the air sign. This is almost as literal. You see how things... Oh, look at these 2 6s. But then it's the sense of victory. Oh my God, guys. This is a soulmate feeling over here, Capricorn. There's like something new happening. I don't know, maybe you have fire sign, maybe you have air sign, or you are like really craving some kind of stability. I really feel this is you, right? So here's this essence of, and this is such a beautiful calm card. Whenever I see this card, and excuse me, my Aquarius, I'm on the edge with Pisces, so I actually can be very romantic. This is such a notebook kind of like feeling over here. It's that scene when they're looking for the swans. It's just like the swans are missing, right? So there's like this trajectory. Yes, we know that we are still holding some issues. We still need to work on things. That's why the swords are being pricked over here. But everybody is like so happy. We are taking what is important with us. She is shedding actually certain things, and I think she's going to be dropping this necklace almost like as a token of a goodwill to serve the water, which are the emotions. So she's saying right now I need kind of like to be more clear-headed to move forward, but that clear-headedness is going to get me somewhere, right? So she's coming to the other side, and on the other side, like, I mean, there's like the servitude, there's like the understanding of what sacrifices have been made and how things got accomplished. It's highly passionate, it's highly romantic, it's highly emotional. If emotions and romance is not something that you worry or want right now, this is more or less going to talk about huge success and huge breakthroughs, no matter what it is: career, job, connections, getting a loan, a legal situation, because this feels right. Ten of Pentacles, which is in your element, it feels this accomplishment. Everything fits. You are getting help from your family, especially in people who are maybe your extended family, which could be work colleagues or something. So this is extremely positive. And it's also 10 and 12, it's 22. This is a master number, and this is also connecting to basically Aquarius going into Saturn going in Aquarians. So it's not going to be a negative thing for you, because you feel that you have accomplished a lot, and you'll be gathering this few months that Saturn is in Aquarius until it retrogrades back in Capricorn to see what else you need to put in your list, what else you need to deal with, and that's going to be very important. So Cancer, you're next. So Cancer. Oh, there you go. That's going to be Cecilia. She says, I'm in love with an Aries, and she's a Capricorn. Oh my goodness. That's going to be really interesting, right? Because maybe you had some kind of sense of solidity and structure. It's going to feel like it's being ruffled up. It's going to go in a sense and structure. So you really need to build stability if that relationship is to survive. Cancers, you have this Judgment card over here showing up. You also have the Page of Swords reversed. So there is like some element of spying. Have you been spying on somebody? Have you been trying to check up on somebody and see what is going on, what's up, right? There is like also essence, and you guys from all signs like to gather, like to hoard. How much toilet paper did you get, guys? Really need to ask this kind of stuff. Maybe you're kind of checking with the Johnsons and see how Johnsons are doing to try to catch up with them. You need to release all that crap, or should I say crab. Need to let go of that, but you're not going to be able to, because you're going to get Four of Pentacles. And Four of Pentacles, and this dude is not as bad as the other dudes. This dude didn't cover his heart. He's still open-minded. He's still waving with his hand. He's open to it. Not in the other decks. He's holding his pentacle next to chest. It's mine. It's just mine, and I don't care about all of you. You need to understand that in this global crisis, this whole process affects, it's a big food chain. Absolutely every little element in the process affects everybody, and you are totally getting it. This card is also meaning that even though there were some issues where you really haven't acted in your best interest or at your utmost vibration, that you're still being rewarded over here, that you're still getting things forward, because you have gotten so many brownie points, you have done so many good things, that right now this is leveling off. But you are still going to be a little bit cautious in how to proceed, and I just want to see yeah, it might be a bad surprise. You might be expecting some money. It's going to be much less than much less than you hoped for. And I think that's where this is affecting your financial situation. I think finances are very important for you, especially in the crisis, because most people don't know your card is Chariot. It's a very fast moving card. When you get something, you want something, but financial stability and money in the bank is extremely important for you. And if you don't feel that hold, you freak out. You totally freak out. So you're going to maybe go into extreme saving mode over here. So Leo, you're next. Do we have any Leos over here? Leo, 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 Leo. You're welcome, Cecilia. Leo, 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 Leo. We have Two of Cups reversed. What's up? There is like not a meeting of the minds of some sort, and walking away from something and wondering what's happening. You're going to feel a little bit in a state of flux, right? Altogether is adding up to 12, which is the Hangman. It's leaving something. This all simply can mean as closing down the old debts, closing down the old affairs, closing down what has been, what could have been. And maybe you had big hopes, because this is, after all, having this like big Leo's head over here, some kind of healing. Maybe you've been going through the process of healing, right? It's really, really interesting that I am seeing it over here. It could be something that is connecting to water, to ocean, that is somebody at a distance over here that I feel. And God helps, I hope that you're not going to hear that somebody had a travel accident or something of a sort, or that somebody's fortunes are up in the air. I don't really think it's yours, but I think you're maybe have been dealing with somebody who was very misfortunate, and maybe that you overstayed your welcome in the situation, and you stay there because of your generosity. You really wanted to help as much as you could. It turned out that you can't, and it turned out that, almost like you were sinking, it's almost like trying to save a person from drowning, and they actually drowned you as well. So you really needed to make that executive decision in this respect, which is kind of really interesting, because it kind of like put you back on a path of some kind of self-discovery, right? Because this is what we see in the Eight of Cups, right? There is like this lure of, I need to find out what is the best for me. And I don't know if you can see this, the Milky Way, and there's like something, my star, I'm following my star. Very important, emotionally going in a new direction, emotionally healing, which is extremely important over here. So we have Leos over here. Guys, you speak up to me. What is this all about? And I'm going to try to get a clarification. You have been very guarded. There are also some secretive things in a situation that you were holding back for some reason. A soldier is also somebody who cannot tell certain things. So maybe the secrets were done in order to protect somebody, to protect your child, to protect your family, right? Soldier is really interesting. Also, it can talk about justice and honor of some sort. Maybe you feel that somebody affected a big sense of pride about that, right? But soldier is also somebody who is ready to battle if necessary, and he has this like sharp end of this bayonet over here, right? Maybe you have been, or you are in a relationship that need to be defended from the outside influences, or maybe you had somebody who is very protective, and like my dog, right? He is going to bite anybody who's coming to my space. He thinks he's protective, but that's unnerving, right? Maybe at work, you had work concerns, or maybe your colleagues are on the defensive. That's possible conflict. Remember what I was telling you, right? Listen to the beginning of this reading and about my astrology little kind of thing. So you need to be proactive also about your health. And you need to really act really, really quickly about that, I guess. there's like also a person who might influence the situation over here. I really, really feel that is really important, because this is the card of that violence and the force. This is that wounded warrior that I kind of like felt in my astrology cover up for the next 2 months over here. So people in uniform, it's going to be some kind of aggression. It could be about inhospitable places, feeling a little bit like a square peg, but also the secrets. I'm still seeing those freaking secrets over here. But look at that. You are getting through. It's just you need to buckle up. It might be a choice between the two things, but you're getting this consolation. It's almost like a reward that you feel you didn't deserve. So this is also a card which says play lottery, gamble on something, right? Because this also can kind of talk about this juggle and gambling. So it is going to end well, but it's going to be a process where you'll feel that you really need to guard something. You need to guard something with your life. So if that's negative regarding something with your life, your beliefs, and you're just wasting your nerves and times and energy on somebody or something that is not really worth it, or that is not valuable, then you're going to actually end up being silly in the eyes of the universe and God. So you really need to kind of like reconfigure and ask yourself what is it you are really needing. And that's why we saw the Eight of Cups. It's kind of walking away from some kind of like nonsense, and you're not going to tolerate any nonsense in this particular period of time. So let's go a little bit of Pisces. Let's jump over here so you're not last, because it was just your birthday, and happy birthday to the very, very last few of you. I still cherish you even though you are here. So let's see what we see for Pisces over here. Pisces. And big round of applause for Barbie. She's running the show. She's my eyes on the crowd, and she's helping you answer the questions. That works so well. I mean, I had the other moderator. She is the freaking best. Yes, so she must have some kind of like Aquarius in her, because I have Libra in me, so this is really, really good. So we have here for Pisces, we have 2 wands, and then we have this Chariot. And I don't know why I wanted more cards, but I got more than I wanted, and I actually don't want zillion cards. So let's start with this, and I might pull one more card. Let's leave this one here on the table. So you got these 2 wands, and so together they're 9. The vibration of 9 is really telling us about closing things. You're looking in the past. You're looking into things. You're looking into what you have hoped for, you have planned for. You might even feel a little bit melancholy and nostalgia. You're going to think about the distant places. You're going to feel antsy. You'll want to try to move out of the situation you're at. You are also starting with the new plans, with the new processes, right? So he's holding this. To me, there's a little place on Niagara Falls, which I know this isn't, that almost looks like that. So they just build a fence over there. So you haven't been, you get there and you see this enormous like feeling of power of that water, and it's like this steam raising up, and it's just like spectacular. So he is kind of like putting one in the stones. This is not going to stay. This is the past. Past is going to collapse. You guys have to let go of that, and you have to get yourself a support system, because you are moving to that new era. You are moving. It's very important. I didn't have a doubt that was going to be a reading for you, and that's the time. And that's maybe why you're feeling a little bit bittersweet, a little bit sad. Oh, I don't want to let you go, and I'll miss you so much, the kind of start. But once when you load that plane, once when you load this new process, it's the pedal to the metal. Like Chariot is like that fast thing. You just have to make sure, because there's duality in both of these cards, right? So here we have like 2 wands, but here we have the horses, and each horse kind of like has its own will. I want to go here, I want to go there. If you look down, it's almost like backgammon, or it could be almost like railroads, right, over here. But this one wants to go here, this one wants to go there. It's almost like the battle between the good and evil. And the Chariot is having that spiritual power, and it's kind of like trying to push through and trying to get through with what he wants, right? Like, I mean, the reins, as you see, they're like not really tight. The reins are, hey, I really want you to choose to do it, and that is very, very important. So it's kind of like wings of God. And the clarification is like 8 of Wands. You're going to feel very good. So you guys will travel. and they said shelter in place, but you will be traveling, and this can also mean spiritual traveling, because you are transitioning from one mindset to another mindset, and it's going to be extremely positive for you. This also can mean that long awaited message is finally arriving. Somebody might tell you that they love you, somebody might surprise you, you might surprise somebody and tell them the same thing. So this is again adding to 15. Be very careful about being horny and about doing things, but it's also all adding to 17, which is you're regaining the sense of hope, you're regaining the sense of direction, you're regaining how you move forward, and this is all going to be really well for you this particular week, right? So you're welcome, Barbie. You freaking deserve it. Now, Virgo. Let's see, Virgo. We just had this mutiny. We all had this health issue. It's coming to a head, and I was telling this about the full moon in Virgo, but let's see what is your sign's reading for this particular week. Virgo. So it should stop the buffering. I have a really high rate. It's 4 times higher than what YouTube wants, and maybe this is sometimes that creates conflict. So Virgo, what we have here, we have 3 of Swords reversed, we have Page of Pentacles reversed, and then we have the Star. Virgos, are you coming from a situation that maybe had a third party involved? That, look at this card, she needs to take a medicine. There's like some medicine, there's like some peace. She's looking for peace, and everything is here: the angel, the fire, the swords in your head, and trying to find a situation out of that situation, trying to find some kind of solution. But she kind of like is really hesitant. Like, I mean, they're both very angelic figures. It goes to show that they kind of like felt that I really don't know how to get out of this situation. Maybe the situation is connecting to someone, as the page would be, but pages of pentacles are moving slow in the best of circumstances, but when they reverse, they move slow. Put slow motion on super slow motion, kind of a thing. And it's just weirdly for you, and this is done for a reason. It's done for a reason. You need to get some little bugs out of your head. You have some solid fixed ideas what you think you need to do, and it has nothing to do with that. Maybe you are overly, and pardon my language, anal, and you really need to kind of like really realize that the freedom is not in what you want, but in what needs to be done. And that's why this is coming reversed. But when it's reversed, the swords are coming out. You're finally getting this realization, and this realization is still making you feel very tired. It's still making you feel exhausted of some reason, and I really think it's really hard for you to move forward and understand everything that is going on, comprehend how can all these people be stupid and not to wash their hands, and why they're coughing on me on the subway or on the bus. It is really upsetting you, and that can be simply just like that. But you are going to get out of it. You're going to get into the state of hope and a big understanding. And look at this glorious big star that you'll have there. You will realize that there is like nourishment for everybody. There's a solution for everybody, and things are happening for a reason. And whatever that reason is, you don't need to know it now. You just need to know that you're going toward this star, toward that hope, toward what you really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Is that how the song goes? And I want to clarify, not with zillions of cards, no, with just few. And you have falseness, but look at the falseness is reversing. So something is coming to light, something is becoming evident, or maybe your ideas about something, you haven't been on the right track, and now you're going to start realization. As I said, it's not what you want, but it's what you need right now. And it's going to be like that, what you need is going to turn out to be that this is what you really deserve, and this is all that is needed. And there is like a priest, and again, for some of you, that's going to be a third-party situation. The priest is a really interesting card over here, because back then when they created these cards, this also represented lawyers, right? And represented all this legal system as well, opinions or regulations, right? But it also can represent some kind of confession over here that I really see. Maybe something is going to come through which is going to kind of like drop your heart or some reason. So when these card reverses, especially in this combination, it can talk about loss of morality, injustice, and prejudice, and errors in judgment. So this is maybe why this is saying, ooh, hold on the horses. I'm not giving you a horse right now. Hold on, right? So this can suggest a cult as well. And I don't know, maybe there are some financial miscalculations or investment errors. You're going to be very upset about how your investments are performing, right? But it can be also spiritual, I don't know, confusions or lack of forgiveness. Maybe you're harboring some anger, you're harboring something, and it could be some kind of emotional coldness or unavailability, right? Or dealing with, well, why me? Why does this happen? It doesn't freaking matter. You need to believe in yourself. That's a strict directive right here. And remember, if you haven't listened to the beginning of this particular, live, then I suggest you do, because I covered almost like for an hour astrology, and that will explain to you why. And just look into your North Node. It's also going to give you some clues. And last, but the sweetest, is going to be Libra. And after Libra, we are going to do another pick a card thing for those of you who maybe didn't get one or want a clarification, and so on and so on. So yes, it was a Virgo. You can just go down on the red bar, Knitting Yogi, and just go into backtrack. Virgo is at 140, so that way you can just backtrack there and get it. So now this is Libra. And did I put the Libras here? No, I didn't, because I want to mail it to Barbie. Libra. This one might come out. So you have the Six of Swords reversed. Then you have the High Priestess. This one wants to, whoa, this one wants to come out. There's like some essence of turning back, turnaround point, or turning back point. You're going back to something old, or you're returning back to a relationship, or you're returning back to a situation that maybe was not the nicest. But at this stage, you're feeling, I can handle it. I can handle it. And you're maybe seeing something else. Maybe you came privy to some new information, some new situation. Maybe you're more more mothering, more nurturing, right? Because this card generally means about moving away from troubles. And this is coming back to troubles. Nobody likes to go forcefully in trouble, unless this is that thing that I told you in the beginning in the astrology part, that you am feeling a little bit, hey, yeah, I have to fight for this and just have this like fur fly. That will be the wrong way. And you will know that, because it could be something about a commitment for some of you guys, because this is what's happening. Maybe you are battling this right and wrong over here. Maybe there's like too much force and too much things that has happened, because you're getting a world card. So there's like a new stage happening. There's like something really great that is going to happen. You have these fixed signs, whether you have like Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, or Taurus in your life directly. If you don't, then indirectly those energies will stabilize you. It's going to feel good. Remember how I was telling you in the astrology part, this is like a birthing process. So you need to really apply this nurturing energies. That's going to be almost like a tantamount of it, because you also have these two cards in combination can talk about some secrets and secret child, or a secret child can mean metaphorically something else, something that was very dear to you, or something that you have lied, something that you are holding down. It needs to be released. It needs to be confessed. It needs to be kind of like it needs to be professed to the world, because something back from the past is coming back to the surface. And it's going to be really important that somebody was observing this whole situation but didn't say anything, and they might act up upon it. Yeah, prison. I hope you're not going to get imprisoned, because this card literally also talks about being stuck in a situation, right? And it can talk about the difficulty of moving on that I see over here, or maybe some shame or guilt, or period of anxiety, or maybe remorse and regret, right? So it can be punishment or confinement, that somebody is like, now because we are going to have this energy that is like a angry warrior, that somebody's going to tell you off big times. So the advice would be that you need to take responsibility for any actions that haven't been at the highest kind of like quality, or something like that. Interestingly enough, this card sometimes also talks about pregnancy and everything. So whatever you guys are going through this week, it's going to come back for you in November, in particularly the first 21 days of November. But very much, if you wanted me to narrow it down, will be between 8th and 14th, right? And this card really suggests that conditions and circumstances that you're experiencing right now are not permanent. And there's like something that has happened that needs to be released, needs to kind of go in the new direction, but there is a current inability to move forward, right? So I'm a little bit concerned about your health here, to be really honest, because concern is warranted over here, I have to say. And so take responsibility and acknowledge wrongdoings, because karma kind of works this way. You get penalized, right? So oil, oregano, and olive oil, olive leaf, it's very important for you, but it's also very important to release certain things that are brewing inside. This is kind of like clearly said, it is time to let go. And with the world card, you need to set the world free. You cannot hold it, right? So it has to go forward, it has to do free. So, and we are going to do the doors to close this reading. So let me see. Man, and sorry for the intensity today. I like to have it usually very light, but there was a little bit difference this time around. So let's do this. I'm going to shuffle these cards again, the same principle, guys. If you haven't been here for the first round or before, I'm going to draw 3 cards or 3 groups. Group number 1, which is on the left, group number 2, which is in the middle, and the group number 3, which is on the right. So ask your question, and I'm going to give you the answer. And I'm going to linger around for a few minutes. I have a number 1 and 2. And if you want me to clarify your particular question, I will be able to do that. All right, so already ready. So for those of you who have picked the group number 1, this is the question number 1. The answer is, oh my freaking God, yes. This is Taurus energy. There's something strong. It could have been something with your home, with money, but it could be like, hey, will I get married? Will things work out? And the answer is yes, 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 yes for everything. This is a very, very strong outcome. It's kind of like also telling you that you need to bring what you bring to the table, what you ask. So this is kind of like meeting of the minds kind of a thing. So it's very strong, very positive. For those of you who chose number 2, ooh, you're getting 6 of Cups. So this can talk about something with memories, or you want something from the past to bear fruits. You might need to talk to somebody about the past, about the things that have happened. This usually brings romantic feelings, or people, reunions as well. So the answer is also yes. And the door number 3 is Justice. I actually asked for this card for me because I wanted to see what it's going to say. And my question was regarding justice. So justice will be served. This can talk about the merit. It's positive, so it's good. You're going to move forward. You're going to get what you want. Things are going to start moving in the direction that you want. And so basically you also need to be careful that the universe eye is looking, and that you really need to understand in which direction you are taking this, and kind of like really need to be just yourself about the situation. But the situation, this one is major arcana, definitely will be moving forward. So guys, hopefully you enjoy this. You know that I'm usually more mild, but this is really a real Aquarius, and this is what happens when you're feeling that Saturn, so maybe more of that will be coming. And it does help that I don't have to turn left and right with Tiger running around all the time, and Sapphie was so lazy that she didn't even want to check the bird. So just please excuse her in that respect. So thank you so much for being here, and I really don't think for the cards you need any clarification. It was very simple. You get it, what you wanted. I'm going to email this to Barbie, and Barbie is going to put the timestamps later. So again, yay, round of applause to Barbie for doing that. So let's play some musica, and then I'm going to see you next week. If you guys want a reading with me, check my website or just write to me and we can go from there. How's that? Okay, so what do we play for love you and goodbye? Let me see, what do I choose? Something nice. Oh, let's go with our standard kind of like music. Take care, guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. All the best.